Hey YouTube friends, it's the 1st of June here in southeast Queensland, and that means it is the start of my very favourite time of the year, and that is winter. But before May gets too far away from us, I thought it would be a really great time to film a bit of May favourites, plenty updates. And as I look around me at the plants that I brought out onto the patio to talk to you guys about, I think I've probably gone a little bit overboard. So I'll probably have to prioritise during the video and maybe not necessarily talk about all the plants that are behind me. We'll just sort of see how it's going. I'll do my best to get through as many of these plants today as we can. And just quickly, if we haven't met before, hey, I'm Mel. A few years ago, after some medical complications, I found myself needing to retire from a career that I absolutely loved. And fast forward to today, I'm proud plant mum to over 150 plants. And this channel is all about bringing you along on my planty journey, mistakes and all, and giving you a bucket load of tips and tricks along the way so that hopefully you can bring some more greenery and calm into your home as well. So grab yourself a warm drink, get comfy, and let's talk about plants. Let's talk about this plant that's directly behind me to start, because I feel like it comes up when I'm doing quick plant tour videos, but it's not one that I ever really talk about when we're talking specifically about plants. And I just feel like it's a bit of a sleeper plant, you know, it just sits in the background, it's always doing its thing, and it makes me smile anytime I walk past it. So I thought it was definitely time that if we're talking about plants that are thriving and plants that are making me smile in May, this is 100% up there on the list. And dare I say, apart from my stock standard 5 or 6 absolute favorite plants, this really needs to be there. So this is the very first Aglaonema I got that gave me confidence that I could actually grow this type of plant. Because if you guys have heard the story before, I apologize in advance. The only Aglaonema I had prior to this, and I couldn't even tell you the type because it never ever went past the one leaf club. It was a tiny little clipping that I got before plant club even started. It was from a friend. The bottom of it was constantly rotting. It didn't matter what I did, I kept that for 18 months because I was sure that it was me. I was sure that I'm just destined not to be an Aglaonema girl. It has more than doubled in size since I got it. I've got it in self-watering, so this is just a cover pot. It just causes me no grief. Even when I've recently repotted it, I had to upsize it and it didn't even have a fit on me. I have to say, absolutely adore this plant. It has definitely given me the confidence. I don't know if you guys can see. I don't want to move the camera because it took me a little while to get this right. But because of this guy, I then purchased this guy, which you've also heard me say before. The ladies at Plant Club are just itching for this guy to get bigger, to be able to get some propagations. But this video is definitely not going to be in any particular order. But if I had to choose a number one for the month of May, this guy is definitely up there. And I never ever thought, like 12 months ago, I never thought I would have been able to say that an Aglaonema was up there as a plant that's just thriving and causing me zero grief and just doing its thing. And every time I come out here on the patio, it just are guaranteed to make me smile. The colors are just absolutely beautiful. If you've watched some of my very early plant videos, you would know just how much I love an Adansonii. I just love this plant. I've always had a soft spot for it. It is definitely the plant that if I'm in a nursery and I see one growing, I have to go up and have a look at it. And it is a plant that I've always said I want as a staple in my collection. Until the last few months, I really didn't feel like I had found their happy place. I really hadn't worked out how to grow them happily in my home. I had it growing in a recycled candle holder, and it finally got too big, so I've had to repot it recently into my self-watering setup. Touch wood, it hasn't missed a beat. It's just continuing to grow for me. I've grown it out in water, and then it filled the jar with its roots, and now I've put it into my DIY chunky self-watering setup, and it is still growing and growing. So I feel like I may have actually found a way to grow these happily in my house. So this is my OG Adansonii that has never ever done well. It is right up there with Aglaonemas in that I just thought maybe this is a plant that is just never ever going to work in my home. Maybe I'm just destined not to have one, and I really didn't want that to be the case. They are well and truly up there with my fiddle leaf fig and my ficus taniki and my African milk tree. There's just something about these plants for me. So this is my OG Adansonii, and I cut it right back, guys, right back to wet sticks. And look at it now. I'm so happy. The pot is filling out. The leaves are actually happy for the first time ever. This one's in stratum and perlite, and I think from memory I had to do that because I'd run out of my chunky mix and I was waiting to get some more in the mail. So I feel like this is such a good news story, and this is well and truly making me smile. Adansonii might actually be able to be one of those staples in my collection, just like my snake plants and my spider plants and my golden pothos, and I may be able to have quite a few of these growing around my home. And I did research it. I think I researched it for a recent video for you guys. Light definitely plays a part in how big the leaves get. So this one is just a tiny little clipping, but the leaves, see, they're almost as big as my hand. Whereas my OG Adansonii that is in similar light conditions, see the size of the leaves, they're just naturally a little bit smaller. And according to Google and according to ChatGPT, it can also be to do with how old or young a plant is. So this mightn't be as mature. Mind you, I've had this for quite a few years. Or it could actually just be the plant itself. Some Adansonii apparently have larger leaves than others. So maybe I'm destined to have the combo. Either way, I'm absolutely delighted that I finally, maybe, fingers crossed, have found a way to grow these guys where they're actually happy living in my home. If I'd done this video only 2 or 3 months ago, this guy would be up there with Naughty Corner, maybe going on the to be swap pile at Plant Club. So it's really nice that this has finally made it to the thriving, making me smile pile. Hopefully it keeps behaving and stays there. So while we're talking about the naughty corner and plants that aren't thriving, I thought that would be a really good time to bring in one of my dark leaf Syngoniums, which, if you guys have watched any of my previous videos, this has always been my plant that I say to you guys, oh, it's so easy to grow, it propagates super easily, it doesn't seem to matter what I do, it just grows and grows, it is no problem. And fingers crossed, it is one of my only Syngoniums that hasn't had pests for me. But last month, it was growing so much, I needed to repot it, I needed to upsize its pot. But it's really just had a moment. It just hasn't been itself since I've repotted it. I even gave it a new trellis. This part of the plant seems to really like climbing up, whereas this one likes trailing. It just keeps throwing out yellowish leaves for me. It really has not been a happy plant since I repotted it. It's in the same location, so it's getting the same amount of light, it's getting the same amount of watering because it's in the self-watering pot. I really hope it comes back. I hope it's just having a moment post-repotting. Did I cut? Have I left any on for you that are yellow? All the newer leaves are coming out an okay colour, so I think it's going to be okay. It was just unexpected, I guess. I expect that with my Alocasias, for example, but I never had expected it with this guy. So I did not expect this to be on the naughty corner list for May, definitely. It doesn't seem to be throwing out any additional yellow leaves. It's just this part of the stem is looking very, very bare where the majority of them are. And the good thing is too, I have taken another cutting. So the propagation is definitely going better than the parent plant. Look at that. That's how it's meant to look. So I guess this gives me a little bit of confidence. If that plant does fall over, at least I've got a backup. This is definitely my favorite Syngonium in my collection, and I would be devastated if I lost it. May has been extremely rainy and overcast, like exceptionally. Maybe we've had it before I had plants, but definitely since I've had plants, I do not remember May being rainy and overcast for such an extended period. I was actually starting to get worried about my patio plants because we just had such little light and such high moisture. And so I do wonder, even though my Syngoniums are inside, maybe the darkness and the moisture in the air, it was so moist. A lot of our walls were actually feeling wet. It was such high humidity. So talking about the rain, I thought that was a really good intro to showing you my very, very favorite and definitely thriving Alocasia for the month. Have a look. Oh my goodness. This was one of the Alocasia that was just a little hitchhiker plant from Plant Club. I've told you this story so many times. Didn't even know it was an Alocasia. It was just a little leaf, I think maybe even a culm that came with one of the other plants. And seriously, it is such a good grower that I've already done a whole other propagation, a propagation about this size for one of the other plant ladies in the group. And it will just continue. I'll just continue doing that. But I was even watching this guy on the patio because seriously guys, it has been so wet and so dark. Last week, I started measuring up my propagation room and thinking, how much floor space do I have in here? Could I actually bring some of my more sensitive patio plants, namely my Alocasia and my Oxalis, inside into the propagation room and maybe get an additional grow light just until this rainy weather went? It was crazy. And so much so, I should have bought one to show you, but some of the cacti, the succulents and cacti that I have sitting in front of the macadamia nut tree had actually started to rot, which I have never ever in all my times growing plants on the patio or underneath the macadamia tree. That has never ever been a problem, particularly in May of all times. When I saw the weather forecast for this week and we've actually got beautiful blue skies, the relief was massive. I can, for now anyway, stop trying to work out how I can possibly bring a lot of my patio plants inside. And so I have to say this was one of the Alocasia I was watching closely because it is definitely a favorite. And I'm so grateful that this little guy hitchhiked home in one of my Plant Club stashes. Actually, on that, I'll have to put up some B-roll because I've already dropped them back home, but up here I'll put some B-roll up for you. I was plant sitting for a friend that went away to Thailand for a few weeks, and she is brand new into plants. She's one of my friends that I'm slowly converting. It was her birthday a few weeks ago, and her beautiful family bought her 3 houseplants, and she said, Mel, would you mind plant sitting for me? They're brand new. My birthday was only last week. My family bought them from Bunnings, which automatically got my radar going, big box store plants. Can you look after them for me? I was like, absolutely not a problem. And when she brought them out, one of them, and hopefully, Editing Mel has put the picture up for you already, was a Calathea. Oh my goodness. And you guys know how I feel about Calatheas. They make me so nervous because they're definitely a filtered tap water situation here. They do not like our tap water. I have tried that, and that is why I don't grow any Calathea. I'm just not going to use rainwater on them. But luckily, so that was one of the positives of the rain, because I was actually catching the rain in a bucket and using it to water the Calathea. The rain actually worked out well for the Calathea. But where I was going with that story was that one of the new plants that she got was actually one of these guys. And because it came from a big box store, it was in the soggiest, densest soil. And I thought, I can't leave it. I can't do that because it's just not going to do well for her. So I've actually repotted it into exactly the same setup as this guy. And when I was repotting it, I think I found about 6 corms in amongst it too. The plant was actually smaller than this one. So I put that in a little propagation container for her as well. I just couldn't help myself. I thought, I cannot look after this plant for 2 weeks, especially when it was so rainy and wet. When I looked at that soil, I thought that's just asking for trouble. Out of all of the potting setups that I've tried for Alocasia, definitely the perlite stratum in self-watering works for me. So hopefully I've set her up for success for the same plant. Anyway, that is definitely my number 1 favorite Alocasia for me. Another plant that I feel like, just like the Aglaonema, it's a plant that I walk you guys past when I'm doing plant tour videos, and I tell you how much I love this plant, but I've never really put it in a monthly favorites video, and it really should be up there because this is my very favorite Rhipsalis plant. Look at this guy. It is so big and so happy. I think it's the 2nd oldest Rhipsalis. So I bought the original ones, the ones that were struggling, that I've hung up in the lounge room, that are doing much better. So they now live next to this guy. But pretty much from the moment I got it, it has not caused me any trouble at all. It is just growing really well. This is actually a self-watering setup. So there's a cover pot in here to water. I keep it in my DIY chunky mix with a bit of perlite down the bottom. It lives in a corner. Let me just think of the direction of the window. So it gets the morning sun, so it's northeast facing. So one window is north, one window is east facing, and so it just gets beautiful filtered morning and afternoon light, and then bright light all through the day. And it just grows and grows. I've started trying to fill the pot a little bit, doing some propagations for it. The other Rhipsalis, my problem Rhipsalis, hangs right next to it and was actually touching it just this week. I noticed a few mealybugs on it. So I've treated both of them, but touch wood, I haven't seen any mealybugs on this guy at all. Maybe I got to it early enough, but I'll treat them both again in the next week. I think I've managed to stop them getting on this guy. Let me just put it back up. That pot is really heavy. Out of all of my Rhipsalis, this one really should be up there in all of my favorites videos as well. Okay, I'm starting to watch the time a little bit, so I'm going to have to start prioritizing here. And this guy definitely cannot be prioritized out. So do you remember, this is one of my new Whale Fin Sansevierias, and when I first got it, I think I had it in slightly too bright a location because the leaves started crinkling a little bit. So I've moved it into our dining room on a buffet table with some grow lights that I've just backed off a little bit, so they're not getting as much light as when it was on the TV cabinet, and it seems to be much happier. And also in the last week, I can't believe it's only been a week, look at this, it's shooting a baby. This is my very first whale fin, and from what I've read, and please add comments down the bottom, because although Sansevierias are one of my very favorite genus of plants, and I know no longer Sansevieria, they're actually just Sina, but I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to stop calling them Sansevieria. The internet tells me that these guys shoot a baby maybe only once per year. So I'm not sure if this is going to be the once per year. It also looks like it might have a little shoot actually in the middle as well. So maybe I might be lucky. But for now, the fact that it's shooting, I hope that's a good sign that I have found its happy place. I'm just so relieved that the leaves have stopped crinkling and it's keeping its beautiful color. This is the one that I said when I got it, it almost looks painted. See that? I just love it. It's got all those beautiful colors in the middle, and then it's got red around the outside. It feels like such a special plant to me, and the fact that it's got a baby Oh my goodness. So this is definitely right up there for me in making me smile. I was so excited. I told my family, of course, oh my goodness, the whale fin has a baby. And they were like, Mel. So that's what I'm telling you guys, because I knew you would care and hopefully be just as excited as I am. Now I can't wait for this guy to unfurl and to see what it looks like, and hopefully it's got the beautiful painted variegation that the parent does. Another plant to show you for May, and I didn't know whether to put it in thriving, not thriving, naughty corner. It sort of doesn't fit in any of those. This is my variegated cast iron plant. I finally feel like I have found its place. For anyone who has one of these, you've potentially had a similar experience to me. They are very, very slow growers. More than 12 months ago now, we had a foster puppy who absolutely shredded it. So it's definitely recovered. But you know what? I've never loved this plant. I wanted to rehab it to make sure it had its leaves back. But I feel like I'm in a place now that maybe I can let it go. I'm seriously thinking about, so not a naughty corner plant, but definitely I think you can go to Plant Club plant, because I don't love it. I've never loved it. I bought it online during COVID. I think I've told you guys this story before. I bought it online during COVID as a variegated variety. And look, there is some variegation, but it doesn't make me smile. This new leaf that's coming out, I'm not excited to watch it grow like I am with the whale fin that's beside me. So I think it might be time to let this guy go, even though it's not misbehaving. And I have to say, I feel so much more comfortable with this decision these days, because I really am all about enjoying my collection and putting plants together that make me smile. If I'm going to put energy into looking after them, I really want them to bring me that joy. And this plant doesn't do that. So I think it's actually going to go to Plant Club. Plant Club is on the weekends. Now that I feel like it's rehabbed, it's got a few leaves, its roots are really healthy. I've not long upsized the pot, and it seems to be growing really well, even though we are in the cooler months. I was thinking, do I tell you guys what I'm planning to replace it with, or do I show you when I've got it? So I think I need to tell you, because I'm really, really excited. It's a plant that has been on my wish list for a very long time. And the only thing that stopped me, it's a Dieffenbachia. And for anyone that has one, you know, they've got those, the calcium oxalate crystals that are extremely poisonous. But this guy lives up on a really high shelf in my propagation room. So that would actually be a pretty safe spot to put a Dieffenbachia. And there is a particular type of Dieffenbachia called the reflector. Every single time I see one in a nursery, I go over to it, I touch its leaves, I do a circle around the nursery, I come back, I look at it. So that is a plant I'm going to swap this out for. I had two Dieffenbachias way back when I didn't even really know what I was doing, and they came with, I want to say mealybugs, but maybe that's not right. They came with some sort of pest, and they were just never healthy, and I ended up just putting them in the compost bin. So I'd really like to try another Dieffenbachia now that I have some sort of idea about what I'm doing with plants. If Editing Mel hasn't already put a picture, I'll make sure you guys have seen a picture up here, and I'll look forward to sharing it with you guys in the next few weeks when it arrives. Conscious of the time, I think we'll just do 2 more plants before we wrap this video up. I've got so many more to show you. We're going to lose daylight soon. I haven't shown you as many of my naughty corner plants as what I wanted to, but I feel like I've showed you my priority plants for the month of May. So let me grab the second last plant for you guys. Oh no, the dogs are bumping the camera. Good girl. Thank you. Come around this way. Hello. I know. Thank you, Daisy. Thank you, Daisy. It's almost walk time. Can I please film 2 more plants? Thank you. This is another one of the plants that I never ever would have purchased myself, but it actually came as a hitchhiker, not from a Plant Club plant, but when I bought my oxalis at the Brisbane Plant Festival last year. So this is of course a Tradescantia, and I just love it. Daisy really has bumped this camera. It was so tiny when I got it from the plant market that I didn't even know if it was a weed or another plant. In true scientist fashion, couldn't help myself. I just let it grow, realized it was one of these guys because I'd never owned one before. I've experimented with a few different growing mediums, a few different light situations. And so you can see I've got it in my self-watering setup in my chunky mix, and it's under a grow light. So it's an under grow light in our bedroom, and it's quite close to the grow light. So it's sort of Hoyer level amount of bright light. Only yesterday I decided I'd take a clipping and see how easy they are to propagate, because once again, I've never had one before. People keep telling me how easy they are, because it would be really nice to start filling out this pot. And let me show you the little propagation. So this literally went in here yesterday, and it's already got, I don't know if the camera will pick this up at all, but it's already got the finest little shoots on it. I am so impressed. The internet told me that within 3 to 10 days I would start seeing shoots, and I think this is the quickest I've seen any of my plants put little roots out already. For now, I am definitely a fan of these guys. They really are, so far, as easy as what people say to grow. And I've already spotted, if this one keeps going well, there's another one in Bunnings, and I know big box store plants, not ideal, but it's got lots more pink and cream than this one, and I think it would be great to do a mixed pot. So if this one keeps growing well, you may see a few more being added to my collection, especially that pinky cream one. I think I definitely need to try one of those as well. Okay, so the last plants that I need to show you guys for May that are just thriving, making me smile, causing me zero issues with regards to pest and root rot and all the other things that plants do to us. And that is my selection of Epipremnums. This is just one of so many that I've got around the house. I'm really loving on Epipremnums at the moment. I have just been so lucky through Plant Club and some of my planty friends. It feels like over the last 6 months, I've just collected so many different types of Epipremnums. I've been really big on doing these mixed pots. So there's actually 2 different types in here. Can you see this guy? How amazing is the variegation on these leaves? I can't wait till this plant gets bigger. Golden pothos are some of my very OG plants that I've had. So I've always got these guys growing in water around the house. They've always made me smile. And my biggest OG Epipremnum is growing in our front entry, and it almost touches the floor. It is just amazing. So I probably wouldn't have branched out and got others, but Plant Club had other ideas, and I am in love with the genus. Absolutely. I think I need to have even more Epipremnum in my life because I just love the aesthetics that they bring. They grow really well for me in water. They grow really well in my DIY self-watering setups. And there's just such a variety. So these are just 2 that I bought out. I've got so many different ones. I've got quite a decent sized Snow Queen that I've been growing over time. And I've also got multiple clippings of Snow Queens from Plant Club with different levels of white and yellow variegation in them. I've got 2 different propagations of the saber blue because I haven't worked out exactly how to grow that one yet. I really need to look up the name of this guy. Look at that half moon and the variegation. It's just beautiful. I got the bulk of the cuttings sort of late last year from Plant Club, so it's taken a little while for them to get established. But now that they are, wow, I am feeling super lucky, and I've just got bucket loads of these sort of propagations around the house. I'm definitely having a moment with Epipremnums. They are 100% up there with some of my stars for May. So that's it for my May update video, guys. I didn't get through as many plants as I had hoped to. Definitely didn't get through as many naughty corner plants as I had wanted to, but don't worry, I'm sure I'll show them to you in some upcoming videos. There's quite a few that I need to show you. As I said, I'm sure the rainy overcast weather has played havoc with a number of my plants, although it has kept the pests away, which has felt really nice. But if you're still watching, thank you so much for spending time with me today. I just have so much fun talking about my plants with you. Just knowing that I can share this little baby whale fin with you and know that you will appreciate it way more than my family do is just so lovely. Whatever you're up to this week, I hope you're having an absolutely wonderful and planty week. And until my next video, guys, take care and remember, you've totally got this.